dice. You never know if it could change your life. Take a chance, you're neither wrong or right. You never know if you don't roll them dice.
Hello, Matt.
Hi, Rob.
How's it going?
It's going well. Prepping for the lifting of COVID restrictions at my school in the next weeks for some games with my students on a lovely Sunday here in Texas. How are you?
Very exciting. I'm doing very well. Because I live in the communist dystopia of Oregon, there will be no lifting of COVID restrictions. We will be living under the thumb of our evil governess, Kate Brown, for all eternity, wearing masks and forbidden to look each other in the eye. So I look at the shining freedom land of Texas in envy. I will never be free.
I'm trying to lean into freedom. So, like, I was making some miniatures for our game, but then my cat, stole most of them while I was out of school. And, I found a couple of them, Unger things, but most of them have just disappeared. So, I'm mourning all of the miniatures I've been painting.
Now this is just sort of like an exciting never-ending scavenger hunt, though. This means that over your time in your house, you will continue to discover the things that the cat has hidden, and that'll be a little delightful treat for you when you find your minis over the years.
Yeah, in the bedroom, I was like, oh look, it's an Otiug. Cool. Neat. Well, I mean, it's inspired. I think it's been a good reason to a good excuse for me to finally buy a 3D printer. So
I've been
if a cat steals a miniature, I don't have to feel bad about it. I'll just make a new one.
I've been thinking about that a lot recently. I think that would be listen, I'm approaching middle age. I need some stupid middle age
dad hobbies.
And I've been thinking, man, it would be cool to have a 3D printer and get really into printing things. That would be a very low impact, exciting, relevant to the hobby. I'm definitely thinking about getting into that.
I think the corner has turned in the technology for the resin printing, where you can get one that is self-contained and comes with a washing and curing station for an extra $120, and your only cost is power and resins, and there's so many miniatures that are basically free, or you can pay people on Patreon or Hero Forge or whatever to make them.
I mean, this was the promise of the future. This is our cyberpunk present,
right?
Except you can't 3D print really useful things. It's mostly just plastic crap. But
you
still,
can only print tchotchkes. But you can't print yourself a new laser gun hand.
Right. But you can download schematics off the internet, and there is a big open source community, and that's cool. It's just kind of sucks that all you can make is plastic widgets. But given that so much of my hobby involves plastic widgets, I'm not
90% plastic widgets. That's all you need.
This is Dungeon Master of None, by the way, in case for some reason you're a Patreon listener and don't know what you're listening to.
And if you're confused, if this is just autoplay while you're falling asleep and up first for an NPR has gone off, and for some god-awful reason we're set to autoplay next. It's no longer the news. Wake up. We're talking about role-playing games.
Role-playing games. That's where we are. And we this is our bonus episode, and we've got something I'm pretty excited about. We're going to be talking about and building my favorite type of character, Matt, is it's the non-playable kind. Playable characters, right. Take them or leave them, but non-playable, aces.
These are non-playable, they're unskippable, they're unkillable, and these are some NPCs we're going to try and whip up for you to hopefully they'll be good enough that you can plop them down anywhere in whatever current campaign you're running.
And if not, hopefully there'll be some inspiration, something that you can take and modify. I feel even if I don't use every NPC that I come across, I always find that it's interesting to read about them and incorporate them sort of into a big list of maybe someday. The more you have in your back pocket, the more useful it is. And if you're like me, your players are constantly forcing you to pull an NPC out of your pocket because they went somewhere and talked to somebody that you didn't have a stat block or any notes for. So having a bunch of different types of just people in the world that you're familiar with and have a little bit of information on is always a useful tool as a DM.
All right, let's get into it. Who should go first? Shall I?
Let's see what you have. This was your idea. Your fine idea.
It was
Matt.
my idea.
So tell me what we're starting with.
Okay, so I decided to start off with an NPC that I have play tested before, and the rest of the ones I've got are poppin' fresh. They've never been done, but this one's been used in one of my games before, and I want to introduce you to to Champion. So Champion, aka Sir Charles Charnay.
Okay.
Imagine, if you will,
I'm imagining
a human male presenting, blonde hair, maybe blue eyes. They could be hazel, they could be gray, but probably blonde hair, blue eyes, covered in resplendent, shining celestial plate armor.
Oh my goodness.
And Champion is for just a direct ripoff of what if you had a superhero in a very bad one in your D&D campaign.
Nice.
And as we know, celestial plate armor gives you a lot of protection. Maybe it gives you super strength, and it gives you the ability to fly. So what if for, the problems that you're facing in a in a medieval day fantasy game, there's a bunch of dire rats infesting the local taverns. Oh no, there's a network of evil grung living in the sewers. A wizard's building a tower. What if Champion showed up and tried to apply 4-color comic book logic to said problems? The world is ending if the Rod of 7 Parts is put together. Well, I'll just go punch whatever thing.
That's beautiful. I love this because this there's been some really good exploration of this idea in shows like The Boys and in Invincible. I know that it's no longer fresh, but I also the dominant mode of superhero engagement is still superheroes are good, and it's good when they show up and punch things. So I always enjoy deconstructing that because, sorry folks, sometimes showing up and punching things is not actually very helpful, but it is always entertaining when that happens. I think I remember you telling me about the game that Champion debuted in, and I always liked this idea.
Right. And so I think there's a number of ways you could use Sir Charles Charday, a.k.a. Champion. You could go, boys with it. You could go that Champion is actually a psychopath, right? And that having, basically the most expensive armor in the world and being probably noble born and having an alter ego as never having any real problems in life has turned this person into just an insane person who, puts people's heads through walls. But the way I played him in the past, and this was before like The Boys was out on video and stuff, was fairly straightforward in that Champion did want to help and do good, but the problem was that if you consider whatever the conflict is in your campaign, usually punching someone in broad daylight won't solve that problem. Maybe Champion isn't the sharpest tool in the shed or the smartest.
Right. Well, and that's sort of like where my head went. You could also play this sort of straight as Iron Man, child of privilege, very wealthy, sort of trying to do the right thing, but ultimately very self-absorbed and self-interested. I would definitely play this as he's just a dumb, powerful, mostly well-meaning dude who just tends to make things worse. I also like the players having to deal with somebody who's I always like ambiguous or complex antagonists. Somebody that they, if champion were outright evil or like openly just like sadistic or masochistic, then they could just deal with the problem by killing him. But if he's well-meaning or just kind of misguided, then it's a little bit more complicated to just do unlimited violence on him to solve the problem.
Yeah, and I mean, if the players want to kill him, he does have like an incredibly powerful magical artifact, but one that is well known. And if one of the players are like, all right, now I have a suit of celestial armor that lets me fly that has the big champion C logo on the chest or whatever, that's a problem. You can also use a champion as kind of a kill stealer or a glory stealer, right?
Glory hound, players... shows up late and takes credit. Yeah.